So hold back time.
Check it out. Check it out.
Rico! Shout to my peoples, everything Rico. Latin Pen Gang, it's the bad guy Chico. Shout to Puerto Rico, and everywhere we go. Boricua's on the set like a big guy, you know. Shark City Rumble, old Dusty Humble. Swinging through your town like I'm George of the jungle. Move like a bundle, shine like the sun though. Pop like a gun though, hit 'em with the 1-2. Yeah, like mommy said, fwah, right across your head. I paid the cost to be boss, and I ain't had the bread. Rick, but that nigga said he talking ish, he think he just plow to the neck to the chest. Hey yo, I think he dead. Rico Sport out here for the whack. Shouts to the kid that's back, and that's a fact. Paying undefeated, they swear that he cheated, and how his man kick ass, quadriplegic. This is crazy. Type 730, as the whole sector, we do niggas dirty. Emotional damage, too hard to manage. The half black Latin Pen kid, the savage. Ha! And that's word to more than I. Havoc, Rando, Randy, and then I. Is the Pen King, HJ, Mexico's Big Irvin, all that's ripping that Rico. Cause everything Rico, my heart, body, and soul, we the people. Rico! And they won't understand, we don't make friends, we only make fam, nigga. Rico! That be the flavor, love thy neighbor, slap thy hater. Rico! Wild children of God, and ain't nothing better than my Rico Sport. Rico! Cause everything Rico, my heart, body, and soul, we the people. Rico! And they won't understand, we don't make friends, we only make fam, nigga. Rico! That be the flavor, love thy neighbor, slap thy hater. Rico! Wild children of God, and ain't nothing better than my Rico Sport. Rico! Shout out to Slum Son for the few, nigga. Rico! Philly's finest, Chimojica, rather unique, nigga. Rico! Rico Sport, all my niggas up frente. Rico! Taca, taca, ta, taca, ta, puta puente. Rico! Rico Sport, all my niggas up frente. Rico! Taca, taca, ta, taca, ta, puta puente. Rico! 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 Rico!
Yo, what's good people? It's your boy 3E. Welcome to another episode of Smoked Out Society. I'm bored, just jumping on. Probably gonna listen to some music. I didn't watch the vice presidential debate, so I'm probably gonna play that while I'm up here smoking, checking it out. I don't know who from the Rico squad is still awake, so if they are, they'll probably jump on. You already know how it is. This circle shit is driving me bananas. boy Hal about to sit here, share the screen. I ain't see this presidential debate. So I'm about to sit here and watch it with y'all.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Reiser. Welcome to a special Vice Presidential Debate edition of America Decides. It's 6 p.m. here on the East Coast. We're just 3 hours away from the only planned VP debate of the 2024 election. I'm here in New York alongside my CBS News colleagues in the spin room, political correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns and senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe. I see the spin room is filling up. We will be checking in with them throughout the night. 35 days from Election Day, the focus in the political world tonight is here on the CBS News Broadcast Center, where Senator J.D. Vance, I think that's really conveyed by some of the
escalation by Iran.
Bill. I mean, Trump has said it was a bad bill.
Actually doing our job. If you look at
after Kamala Harris.
Damn, how long before this is going?
The White House has been very clean. You know, a lot of Americans are.
We've actually done a good job.
Yeah.
And former peanut farmer was elected in 1977 on the heels of Republican fatigue following the Watergate scandal.
Since then, he's devoted his time to humanitarian causes. It won him the Nobel Peace Prize in 2000.
Oh, what the fuck I did? What the fuck happened? I was trying to watch that shit. Like me got it wrong right now. Let me see what's going on. Let me see what these people are saying.
A cordial debate between these two men. I wouldn't describe them as evenly matched because they are so different. So different in style and so different on substance. Very interested to hear from the spin room, to hear from all of my colleagues here, to get to all of the analysis that we're going to get to. I think the big picture takeaway from this is that one of these candidates is much slicker than the other, is a much more practiced kind of professional debate style speaker, and the other candidate won. There was one bad moment for Tim Walz in this debate where he got mixed up and embarrassed in answering a question about exactly what month he had been in China in relation to the Tiananmen Square protest. But then on guns, on January 6th, on Obamacare, on the economy, on blaming everything on the border, back again on healthcare, on abortion, on every issue on substance, J.D. Vance was very polished and very slick, and Tim Walz beat him on all the substantive points. At least that was my take on it. I do think that there was one very blunt, very easily disprovable lie on a very important issue that is going to be real trouble for J.D. Vance coming out of this, which was him saying, "I never supported a national ban on abortion." J.D. Vance is bluntly on the record and on tape saying, "I want abortion to be illegal nationwide." His actual quote was, "I certainly would like abortion to be illegal nationally." Saying, "I never supported a national abortion ban," when that's out there, is something you're never going to shake in your campaign, particularly when so much of the country is mobilized on this issue of reproductive rights, the first presidential election after the fall of Roe versus Wade. Nicole.
Oh, why am I always first?
Because you lost the short straw.
So I think that J.D. Vance spent the night sort of building an intricate and beautiful fort out of toothpicks. And it was perfect. And at the end, he sneezed on it. The whole thing fell apart, and he had to walk out of that room over the broken toothpicks. I think that God bless the people who watched the whole thing and stayed locked in on it. I checked in with about 20 people all who do this and watch this for a living, and they were kind of in and out of some parts of it. But no matter how you watch this, if you cannot say what happened in 2020, and the only reason you're there is because what actually happened.
Could you describe him for me?
A white man, dark hair.
The voice you're about to hear.
I'm Nora O'Donnell, and thank you for joining us for tonight's CBS News Vice Presidential Debate. We want to welcome our viewers on CBS, on other networks here in the U.S. and around the world. Governor, Senator, thank you for joining us. Let's get started. Earlier today, Iran launched its largest attack yet on Israel, but that attack failed thanks to joint U.S. and Israeli defensive action. President Biden has deployed more than 40,000 U.S. military personnel and assets to that region over the past year to try to prevent a regional war. Iran is weakened, but the U.S. still considers it the largest state sponsor of terrorism in the world, and it has drastically reduced the time it would take to develop a nuclear weapon. It is down now to 1 or 2 weeks' time. Governor Walz, if you were the final voice in the Situation Room, would you support or oppose a preemptive strike by Israel on Iran? You have 2 minutes.
Well, thank you. And thank you for those joining at home tonight. Let's keep in mind where this started. October 7th, Hamas terrorists massacred over 1,400 Israelis and took prisoners. Israel's ability to be able to defend itself is absolutely fundamental. Getting its hostages back, fundamental, and ending the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. But the expansion of Israel and its proxies is an absolute fundamental necessity for the United States to have the steady leadership there. You saw it experienced today, where along with our Israeli partners and our coalition, able to stop the incoming attack. But what's fundamental here is that steady leadership is going to matter. It's clear, and the world saw it on that debate stage a few weeks ago, a nearly 80-year-old Donald Trump talking about crowd sizes is not what we need in this moment. But it's not just that. It's those that were closest to Donald Trump that understand how dangerous he is when the world is this dangerous. His chief of staff, John Kelly, said that he was the most flawed human being he'd ever met. And both of his secretaries of defense and his national security advisors said he should be nowhere near the White House. Now, the person closest to them, Donald Trump, said he's unfit for the highest office. That was Senator Vance. What we've seen out of Vice President Harris is we've seen steady leadership. We've seen a calmness that is able to draw on the coalitions to bring them together. Understanding that our allies matter. When our allies see Donald Trump turn towards Vladimir Putin, turn towards North Korea, when we start to see that type of fickleness around holding the coalitions together, we will stay committed. And as the vice president said today we will protect our forces and our allied forces, and there will be consequences.
Governor, your time is up. Senator Vance, the same question. Would you support or oppose a preemptive strike by Israel on Iran? You have 2 minutes.
So, Margaret, I want to answer the question. First of all, thanks, Governor. Thanks to CBS for hosting the debate. And thanks, most importantly, to the American people who are watching this evening and caring enough about this country to pay attention to this vice presidential debate. I want to answer the question, but I want to actually give an introduction to myself a little bit, because I recognize a lot of Americans don't know who either one of us are. I was raised in a working class family. My mother required food assistance for periods of her life. My grandmother required Social Security help to raise me. And she raised me in part because my own mother struggled with addiction for a big chunk of my early life. I went to college on the GI Bill after I enlisted in the Marine Corps and served in Iraq. And so I stand here asking to be your vice president with extraordinary gratitude for this country, for the American dream that made it possible for me to live my dreams. And most importantly, I know that a lot of you are worried about the chaos in the world and the feeling that the American dream is unattainable. I want to try to convince you tonight over the next 90 minutes that if we get better leadership in the White House, if we get Donald Trump back in the White House, the American dream is going to be attainable once again. Now, to answer this particular question, we have to remember that as much as Governor Walz just accused Donald Trump of being an agent of chaos, Donald Trump actually delivered stability in the world, and he did it by establishing effective deterrence. People were afraid of stepping out of line. Iran, which launched this attack, has received over $100 billion in unfrozen assets thanks to the Kamala Harris administration. What do they use that money for? They use it to buy weapons that they're now launching against our allies, and God forbid, potentially launching against the United States as well. Donald Trump recognized that for people to fear the United States, you needed peace through strength. They needed to recognize that if they got out of line, the United States global leadership would put stability and peace back in the world. Now, you asked about a preemptive strike, Margaret, and I want to answer the question. Look, it is up to Israel what they think they need to do to keep their country safe, and we should support our allies wherever they are when they're fighting the bad guys. I think that's the right approach to take with the Israel question.
Senator Vance, your campaign is pledging to carry out the largest mass deportation plan in American history and to use the U.S. military to do so. Could you be more specific about exactly how this will work? For example, would you deport parents who have entered the U.S. illegally and separate them from any of their children who were born on U.S. soil? You have 2 minutes.
So first of all, Margaret, before we talk about deportations, we have to stop the bleeding. We have a historic immigration crisis because Kamala Harris started and said that she wanted to undo all of Donald Trump's border policies. 94 executive orders suspending deportations, decriminalizing illegal aliens, massively increasing the asylum fraud that exists in our system. That has opened the floodgates. And what it's meant is that a lot of fentanyl is coming into our country. I had a mother who struggled with opioid addiction and has gotten clean. I don't want people who are struggling with addiction to be deprived of their second chance because Kamala Harris let in fentanyl into our communities at record levels. So you've got to stop the bleeding. You've got to re-implement Donald Trump's border policies, build the wall, re-implement deportations. And that gets me to your point, Margaret, about what do we actually do? So we've got 25 million illegal aliens who are here in the country. What do we do with them? I think the first thing that we do is we start with the criminal migrants. About 1 million of those people have committed some form of crime in addition to crossing the border illegally. I think you start with deportations on those folks. And then I think you make it harder for illegal aliens to undercut the wages of American workers. A lot of people will go home if they can't work for less than minimum wage in our own country. And by the way, that'll be really good for our workers who just want to earn a fair wage for doing a good day's work. And the final point, Margaret, is you asked about family separation. Right now, in
these guys are talking too much bullshit. They talking too much shit. I cannot listen to what the fuckers are talking about. Ain't nothing interesting they're talking about right now that's catching my attention. I guess nobody from the crew is on. Cuba's on fucking Call of Duty. Yeah, really nobody's on. My New York Mets did good tonight. They won. That shit was official tissue. Yeah, they ain't really shit to do tonight. Ain't nobody on. Well, I guess I'm out of here then. Fuck it. Y'all already know, people, how I do. Smoked Us Society. We out of here.